Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys 10 things that a lot of you probably never noticed before. I mean, some of you might have noticed these, but quite a few I haven't noticed myself either. So, without further ado, let's get started. The first one, number 10, is on a mission towards the Sanghelios, and it happens at the near the end of the mission, right before you get to the outer council chamber. There's two elites, dead elites, that are basically holding hands. So it's right over here by this blown up wraith. And here you are. Two dead elites, and they are basically holding hands together. I guess that means they were lovers, and they died together. And, this is not like some accident where the bodies just happen to land next to each other, because these aren't actual bodies. They're not movable. They don't bleed or anything. They're just spawned there on purpose. So it is a little interesting thing that you can see there. And most people just like drive by that or run past that and not even notice it. Now before we get to the next one, that defective drop pod glitch from our previous video actually happened again here. And quite a lot of enemies got stuck in their drop pods. So if you saw that video, I guess this is a quick follow-up, but I do believe that this glitch actually happens a lot more often than I thought in that video. But anyways, back on topic. For the next one, number 9, is, I guess simply put, flying Spartans. So on the mission evacuation, if you bring a bunch of vehicles onto the elevator with you, and then you get all the Spartans, all of Osiris team, whether they're AIs or players, into the vehicles. It doesn't matter what sea you get them into, but if you get into the vehicles, at the part where the Guardian sets off its EMP, well, I guess just you'll see what happens in a second. But it's actually pretty funny, and it affects all Spartans, and regardless of what vehicle you're in. So there you have it. If you have a vehicle in here and you happen to be sitting in the vehicle, once the blast wave hits, all the Spartans in the seats, they'll just go flying up in like some funny animation, just land back down, and then sit that back down. Now, for the next one, on the mission towards Sanghelios, this happens right at the very beginning during the cutscene, right before you actually get into gameplay. But if you look very closely in the bottom left at the date, it says October 27th as the day that this mission is happening. Well, October 27th is actually the day that Halo 5 was released. Albeit, it's actually like several hundred years before the date listed in the game, but nonetheless, that date is a reference to the Halo 5 release date. Because, they could have picked any other random date, but they picked that one because it's Halo 5. Now, number 7, this one was actually interesting, and I did not even notice it, or I didn't even remember it. But on a mission blue team, towards the middle, where the hunter knocks you off the ledge, and you're in this cutscene where Cortana sends you a vision of the Guardians. Right after this little vision that Master Chief has, he lands in like this little pose, as Kelly is trying to figure out if he's alright. So just pay close attention to this pose he's in right now. His gun position, his arms and everything, the direction he's looking. Well, that pose is the same pose from Halo 4, the cover art. It's exactly identical to that. He's holding his assault rifle the same way, his arms the same way. He's just basically doing this Halo 4 pose. So that's a little reference to Halo 4 that you might not have noticed. Number 6. This one is I think a lot of you might have noticed this one, but it's actually still pretty cool, and I guess it could be useful to some people. But on the mission Osiris at the very beginning, right after the cutscene where all this happens, if you turn around instead of going forward, if you look over here on the ground, there is an energy sword handle sitting here, and it will light up blue, which means you can pick it up. It will say hold B to pick up energy sword. Of course, if you pick it up, it's just the empty energy sword handle, but you can use it as a weapon, and it's a decent melee weapon, I suppose. But other than that, there's nothing really special about it, but it's just a little hidden thing that you can pick up over there. I'm not sure if it was intended to be picked up by 343, but nevertheless, it's there, and you can use it. Now, number 5. This one is a reference to the mission Arbiter on Halo 2. But basically, this mission is this cutscene from the mission is where you first, right after Swords of Sanghelios, where you save the Arbiter. It's where you really first get to talk to the Arbiter and everything. So actually, it's the first mission where you kind of like play alongside Arbiter in gameplay. It's kind of, I know you kind of did a little bit on the previous mission, but anyway, so at the very beginning of this mission, after the cutscene, in the bottom right corner, the name of the checkpoint is called A Whisper in the Storm. That is actually the same name for a similar checkpoint in the mission the Arbiter in Halo 2, which happens to also be the first mission that you get to play as the Arbiter like extensively and see him extensively as well. So here we are on MCC, mission the Arbiter, and you can see this on any version of Halo 2. It's the same checkpoint name, they never changed it. But if you skip the cutscene and you go into gameplay, in the bottom right corner, there it is, the exact same checkpoint name, A Whisper in the Storm. And I guess it's pretty appropriate that they named the Halo 5 one after this, because it is the first mission where you actually get to see Arbiter long enough. I know the previous mission you get to see him like really quickly, but the mission ends like right when you see him. Now for number 4, this one could actually be helpful, but it's something that most people don't notice. They either just run by it or they assume that it's too dangerous to attempt. But on the mission, I believe it's Genesis. It's where you first arrive, and you got to run down the side of the Guardian here. There'll be a lot of Prometheans that spawn that try to stop you or attack you. A bunch of crawlers and a few soldiers here and there. Well, what you may not have noticed is that these crawlers and soldiers are actually different than your usual ones. As in, they pretty much have no shields. Like their armor is almost gone. So pretty much, the crawlers, they'll die on pretty much one hit from any weapon. Regardless of whether it's a headshot or body shot. I'm trying not to get headshots here on them, but I'm pretty sure just a single bullet from a pistol will kill the crawlers, regardless of what difficulty you're on. And the soldiers, a single bullet pretty much knocks off all their armor, and a couple more will kill them. So these enemies are all weakened, and I guess it's just to make this part a little easier on you, so that you can get by them, especially on legendary difficulty. But basically, all the enemies on this one segment are completely weakened, and it's just something that most people probably did not notice, and just trying to run by. They're just trying to survive, basically. But these enemies are a lot easier to kill, so if you're trying to go for a score attack or anything, there's no reason not to kill these enemies, because they're easy points. And there's the same on legendary. I'm playing on easy now, but if you do it on legendary, it's the exact same thing. The crawlers all still die in one hit, and the soldiers, they pretty much have no armor or shields. In fact, let me just show you what that's like really quickly. So here we are on the main menu. I'm setting it to legendary, and let's start the mission. But anyways, like I said earlier, my guess for why they did that is just because just think about it. If you did this on legendary and they're all full shields and full armor, and it's gonna be kind of hard to get by them, because you'll die pretty quickly, and you don't exactly have a lot of time to shoot them or take cover and kill them or anything. So I guess 343 decided it's better to make them weaker, because they didn't think that most people would notice it. You'll barely even notice it, because you're not really paying attention. You're just running down the hill on this part. But anyways, here we go. So we're on legendary, and let's see if how easy the enemies are killed on legendary. Now on legendary, the soldiers will still have a little bit more health than they do on easy, but the result of that is these soldiers on Legendary on this part are pretty much the equivalent of regular soldiers on Easy. Maybe a little easier to kill than the Easy soldiers. But as you can see, the crawlers all still pretty much die in one hit. I'm trying to avoid headshots still, but I'm pretty sure they're dying in one hit. And the same with the soldiers, pretty much like a single bullet takes down their shields, and a few more bullets after that kills them. Now, for number 3, this one's actually also pretty interesting, but this happens, quite a lot in like video game cutscenes. Sometimes it's like an oversight or something. But this is the cutscene before they arrive at Meridian Station. In this scene where Buck is talking to Locke, they're getting their gear together, all their equipment and stuff. Buck pulls out a pistol that he's going to use from this crate, and if you look closely, it is a gunfighter magnum, or gunfighter pistol. And see, he equips it to himself, and that pretty much shows that he's going to use that pistol, that it's his pistol. However, with that, keep that in mind, once we get into gameplay, on the Meridian Station, we're in the elevator, and if you play as Buck as well, you'll notice, in first person, when you pull out your pistol, it is actually not the gunfighter pistol. It is in fact just a regular standard magnum. So basically his weapon changed between cutscenes, or maybe in the cutscene it was like a mistake and they gave him the wrong pistol. But just a little it's basically a little inconsistency between the two between the cutscene and gameplay that's really easy to overlook. And even like when making a cutscene, it's also easy to overlook. Now for number 2, this is actually a pretty cool shortcut that, this is more of a personal thing that I never noticed, but I wanted to share with you guys because I figured it'd be really helpful, especially if you're trying to do speedruns on Legendary or any difficulty in general. So on this part on Meridian Station, you're supposed to clear out the courtyard, and there's several waves of Prometheans that keep spawning in, and it takes a while and there's a lot of enemies. However, I found out that I learned that you don't actually need to do that. There's an easier way. If you just come up here, grab a sniper rifle or any relatively good ranged weapon, you zoom in over here, there's a little generator here. If you shoot that generator, it will explode and be destroyed. And that gate over there will actually open without you having to kill any enemies at all. And that basically allows you to skip this entire part of the mission. So, hence, speedrun tactic.
Gates are open. What in the hell are you doing? We're headed for Meridian Station.
Now, I don't know if you could hear that, but what's interesting at this part is if you start heading out, Governor Snow will be like, "What are you doing?" And then Locke will he'll be pretty cold. He'll say like, "We have a mission to do." And I'm like, wow, that's, like I said, that's pretty cold. And the other Spartans will pretty much remark that, they have to help the civilians or they'll get slaughtered. And you have the option to go forward or to go back and help. Now, if you were to go back and help, there won't be any more waves to fight. They'll stop spawning in, so if you finish off the rest, then you're good. But if you go forward, there's no repercussions, so it doesn't affect anything. But it's a little interesting thing that I just never noticed. Now, for number 1, pay close attention to Fred's DMR. Look at the barrel, look at the rate of fire. It's a single shot weapon, and the barrel's pretty long. So keep that in mind, and pay close attention to Fred, specifically, in this cutscene. And this is on a mission to breaking at the very end, after you fight all the wardens. And in this cutscene, you have a lot of wardens that pop in and are about to attack you. So look very closely at Fred's DMR there. The barrel is missing from his DMR. It's already changed between the end of gameplay and the start of the cutscene. And as you can see here, same thing, his barrel is still missing on his DMR, and he's also somehow rapid firing his DMR. So that's another kind of like the Buck's pistol. That's another inconsistency between gameplay and cutscenes and vice versa. So, you know, as far as like what's actually going on, I highly doubt like Fred changed his weapon, like cut off the barrel and like made it automatic that quickly. So yeah, just a little discrepancy there, and you know, I think it's pretty cool because I would love to have like a rapid fire DMR. I think that'd be like a pretty OP weapon actually if it still does the same damage as a regular DMR. But you know, 343, if you're watching this, new rec weapon, rapid fire DMR. But anyways, I hope you guys found this to be interesting, and if there's anything else that I missed that you think other people didn't notice, you know, just leave it in the comments, let other people know. And, you know, maybe if there's something really interesting, I might make a separate video of it, or, you know, tackle in a future video. But yeah, other than that, make sure to leave a like. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and click the little bell notification icon next to the subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with our latest videos. And other than that, I will see you guys next time. So, have a good day.